going on, peoples? This is the second video in a series of videos in series I titled My Thoughts as a African American Developer. I'm someone that has 20 years development experience working in the financial industry mostly, but I have worked for startups and I've worked for smaller companies. But I work mostly in the bigger, larger financial brokerage companies building web and mobile applications. So this video series is geared towards the beginner. And as I said in my last video, I'm hoping more African Americans will take on this profession, which can be highly rewarding. It's a very well-paying profession, and it opens doors of autonomy. You can build your own applications, entrepreneurship, etc. So I'm offering my perspective as an African American male in the hopes that I can influence other black people to get into software development. So this video is, I'm going to deal with what's the first thing a software developer should get into if they want to become a web mobile developer. From my estimation, my experience, other people have different perspectives. I'm giving my perspective of what I think a developer should get into. So I'm titling this video Java. This video is going to be Java, based on Java. And I'm going to give my perspective as to why I say that the beginner developer should start with Java. But first, let's give an overview of web mobile development. So when you see a web page, you see a mobile application, there's 3 tiers within that app. The first tier you see is the user interface. So the user interface is the first tier of the development environment. User interface is usually HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That makes up the user interface. The next tier you have is the sort of the business layer that handles processing information from the front end, the user interface that passes that data to the middle tier, and then the middle tier will either process that information and send it to a back-end database, data store, or send it to another service. So the middle tier does the bulk of the heavy lifting in terms of validating that information, authenticating users, security, securing the application, and processing data, as I said before, processing that information, sending it to the front end user interface, or sending it to the back end, or sending it to another service. And then you have the back end tier, which is the database. So the database can be a it's a data store. It holds your information. So you have, you have a relational database, which is an SQL structured query language database. You have other types of data stores such as NoSQL. So you'll see NoSQL databases. And those types of databases arose out of the internet. Because when you're dealing with internet pages and saving information from internet pages, it's not a structured sort of data. You're saving comments, you're saving actual web pages, you're saving different types of information. So that type of information can vary. So there needed to be a data store written that can handle saving data in that manner, and that's where a NoSQL database arose out of. And then you have cache. You see this term cache. So data cache is basically a sort of memory database. It's stored in memory. It's not a permanent data. So it's a data cache, and it uses data stores. So caches are usually used for information that rarely changes. So once, so it's easier to retrieve information from a data cache as far as processing expense than from a database, because a cache is stored in memory, whereas you have to make a call to a database, retrieve that information, select it, and then push it up to the middle tier and then the top. So it's as far as a processing expense, saving information in a cache that rarely changes. That's why they would use a cache. It rarely changes, and it makes that process faster. So we're going to deal with today the middle tier, which is Java, and why I think Java is the best to start off with, and why I choose Java over Python or C#, which is Microsoft. First off, Java has a large user base. It's huge. So the user base is large. Java has a large ecosystem of different types of applications that utilize Java. So you have core Java. You'll see these terms, and once you become a Java developer, you'll see the term core Java, and then you'll see the term J2EE, which is Java Enterprise Edition. So core Java encompasses knowing the core Java functionality, knowing the core, having a good understanding of core Java functionality, Java collections, multi-threading, how Java works. And it's essential if you become a Java developer that you do become adept in knowing core Java. J2EE encompasses a lot of the tools, APIs, frameworks that are written in Java or use Java. So when you hear J2EE, it's probably specifically talking about a framework. There are multiple frameworks, too many to name. Some of the most popular are Spring. There are database data frameworks called like Hadoop that does MapReduce, which is a concept. We're not going to discuss that. I want to focus now strictly on core Java. So core Java is the core functionality. So as I said, I suggest that a new developer focus on core Java, learning core Java. How do you learn core Java? Even though there on YouTube, there are a number of YouTube videos and sites that'll get you up, that'll teach how to build a basic Hello World Java application. I suggest you purchase a decent book, beginner's book on Java, that has pretty good examples to get you up to speed, show you how to, what you need to get started with Java. Of course, you're going to need a computer, a decent laptop or desktop. If you're using a laptop, I would suggest you get a second monitor. When you're beginning to learn how to code, you're going to be looking at code a lot. You're going to be writing code, and a bigger monitor from a laptop monitor is it'll help. It'll help you greatly learning how to code using a bigger monitor rather than looking at a monitor, a small laptop monitor all day for hours on end trying to learn this, because it's going to take hours. It's going to take days to understand certain concepts. I mean, even for me, it took me days to learn, to understand, just repetition. That's what learning is. You're not going to pick up some of these concepts in a day. It's going to take days. It might take weeks to learn, the foundational concepts of Java. So I would suggest you get a large monitor to go with your laptop. And I suggested getting a decent book on beginning. So you could go on Amazon, and Amazon has decent books. Book reviews on learning Java. So they have a nice selection of books. They have a nice selection of books, and good reviews. They'll tell you, the reviewers will tell you if it's a good book. Now, after you get your beginning Java chops in, you built a couple of sample applications, your Hello World. The next thing I suggest for a beginner, and even for someone like myself, I still utilize these books for technical interviews. So there are two books for getting a Java certification. The Oracle Certified Associate and Oracle Certified Professional study books. Even though I've never gotten a cert, I use these books for technical interviews. I was never asked for a cert, but I use these books. These books are very good in learning core Java and also preparing you for technical interviews in Java. So I'm going to put a link in the description for some decent beginning Java books, and these two books, Oracle Certified Associates, Oracle Certified Professional. Start off with the Oracle Certified Associates, and it goes through core Java like a hot knife through butter. it covers almost everything. The professional book covers more aspects. The Associates covers the core Java that someone just beginning Java should know. But the professional goes more in depth, but it gives a very good, these books, like I said, you'll be using them for years. So it's not a waste of money. Even after you get your cert, you're going to need it as a refresher. Because, you get a job, you're not going to use every aspect of these languages. you're going to use just a subset of the language. You're going to be doing it repetitiously, and you'll tend to forget some of the information. You need to refresh yourself when you're doing technical interviews, because they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to, they're going to think, oh, you should know this, but this is for technical interviews. So they're going to ask you questions that to try to eliminate you rather than to see what you know. So I'm going to provide links to the various books that I suggest in the description. And as I say, a core Java developer opens himself up to learning J2EE more proficiently. Also, if you know core Java principles, these principles, learning C# or learning Python, they have some of the same fundamentals as learning core Java. But Java has a larger ecosystem than Python and C#. So it has more avenues for you to grow into and to learn. So that's why I recommend Java. Also, learning core Java gives you a solid understanding of programming fundamentals. So with that, I'm going to end this video, and as I said, I'm going to add what I suggested in the description box. With that, I say peace.